Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US. And I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class. It is Wednesday, March 25th, 2026, as I'm coming to you live at 11 a.m. Central Time. So if you're watching after the live is done, feel free to comment on the other comment section. But if you're watching while the live is happening, then log into your Google or YouTube accounts so that you can chime in on the live. And I just have to tell you, because some of you watched my last couple videos, and I'm exhausted because this cold is not leaving. I actually had one of those virtual appointments this morning. And I have a lot of makeup on to make myself not look sick. But I'm exhausted. I've been sleeping very little because this cold is just keeping me awake. But I'm on meds as of 2 hours ago. Yay! And we're going to fight through this because I have a really fun card idea to share with you today. It's a beautiful background. It's called, I want to make sure I say it correctly, Bargello. It's an Italian word, and it describes a patterning. And so we're going to make this fun Bargello background on our card. And then I'll show you, after I've demonstrated one card, I'll show you 3 others made with a whole different suite of products. So we're going to start with the Delicate Dream Suite. Now, if you live in the US, I just want to let you know that right now, the paper, the beautiful, beautiful paper, is not available right now. But it's as long as something is showing in the online store, then it's coming back, okay? So when it says currently unavailable and there's a place for you to put your email and click for a notification, you'll want to do that because they do email you right when something gets back in stock that you've been waiting for. The other part, I think it's the dies or the stamps. I don't know, I clicked away from that window, but it's been a popular one and you'll see why. So let's go to the desktop so you can see it. As I am showing you these beautiful products in this Delicate Dream Suite, I do want to introduce you to Trisha Josephs. If you're not familiar with her, she is my moderator. She has a little album, what's that called? What would we call that little symbol there, Trisha? It's some kind of placard or whatever, but it's there to signify that she is important and she's there to answer questions. So when you have a question during the live, you can reach out to her. You can even tag her by starting your question, then click or tap the @ sign, the A with a circle around it, and then start typing her name immediately after. Don't put a space. Her name will come up, you click on it, and then you'll be able to have your question stand out to her. So Trisha Josephs, thank you again for being here. We appreciate you so very much. And thank you also, I just noticed that she gave a reminder, if you could, if you're having fun today, please add the thumbs up. And then, of course, subscribe to my channel. I would love it if you would subscribe. That way you get notifications. Oh, and then you could turn on your notifications, but then you get notifications of when I'm going live. And there are at least 2 lives, it seems like, every week, maybe more. In fact, I'm going live again tonight because, do you see, do you see what's behind me, you guys? Look at this. This just came, literally when the 11 o'clock hour rung. I heard this doorbell and I'm like, I better run up there in case they ring the doorbell again, which is why I'm a little bit late. But yeah, they were there. UPS was there to drop off my box. So all those fun goodies in there that demonstrators could pre-order as of yesterday from the May 2026 product release. So let's take a peek at Delicate Dreams. This suite is incredible. The colors are gorgeous. The combination of imagery and colors, beautiful. It does, of course, have a bundle. So a stamp and a die bundle. Here you can see the stamps called Delicate Whispers, and then these are the Stampin' Cut and Emboss dies, also called Delicate Whispers. And you can see that some of them are framing type dies, these here that are solid. Those frame and cut out a lot of the imagery that are within the stamp set. And then you have some standalone dies that are great for detailed, like little punch out, cut out type pieces. And so just Google Delicate Dreams cards and see what people are creating. It's amazing what you can find out there on Google searches, Pinterest searches. If you're a demonstrator, you can tune into the demonstrator planning place. The big brown truck. Yes, that is totally it. We love the big brown truck, don't we, Linda? Okay, and then in that suite, you have, of course, some embellishments. These are embellishments that we will be using in our Craft Along event that is next week. So I got to make sure that these meds kick in because I got to feel good for 6 days in a row of lives, don't I? They're called Natural Matte Dots, and they come in Secret Sea, Old Olive, Crumb Cake, and White. And of course, those colors are in the papers. Let me show you the ribbon really quick. The ribbon is beautiful. It's gray granite, but the texture, like, it has like a shininess to it. So it's almost like, I don't know, it's kind of a glossy gray granite. It's almost silvery in a way. Really, really pretty ribbon. Obviously, I like it because I'm almost down to the end of the roll. And then we have the papers. And this paper, and I've bought 2 packs of this so far, and this paper, this is the last of this sheet. That one I love. Love, love, love. Plus, we used it in a make and take for our team event that we had in Long Beach at Onstage, the Stampin' Ups convention that we just had a couple weeks ago. So let's take a peek at the papers. On one side, you can see the foiling, like a copper foiling on there. And that copper foiling is, so I don't have copper paper. There is a pack of foil paper that, excuse me, that we do have in the online store. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm not using that one. I'm using Earth and Textures to go with it. It's a brownish foil, but it works really well with this copper foiling. I mean, if you put these two right next to each other, they almost look identical, those two colors. So really, really pretty. Okay, so now on the other side, you can see that there are some more soft, subtle type backgrounds. We call it the A side and the B side, and we have more like a solid look here, canvasy kind of, I don't know, fabric-y, linen-y kind of look here. A design with crumb cake and some white drawn in imagery that coordinate with the stamp set. We have the hydrangeas, and then we have this fun little checkerboard looking design. Now, hydrangea hue, if you haven't been tuned into my channel, is one of the most beautiful colors. I just love it. It's probably my favorite. I do love a couple others I love them all, but hydrangea hue is my favorite. And then we have one called Barely Blush. That would be probably my second favorite. And then the other 3 are like equal in my mind because they're still great colors. But you'll want to catch up the in color video that I just did last week that introduces you to new colors. And this paper includes hydrangea hue, which is a new incoming color. Let me set these aside, and we're going to bring in some scraps from that paper, and we're going to start the process of making this card. I do want to, actually, let's do this. I do want to bring you to my computer screen real quick so I can show you the PDF, because Rachel is back in kind of a regular routine here. After coming back from on stage, there's just so much I want to share. And so some of the videos, like they didn't include PDFs and all. Anyways, this one does, because this is a class. So let's check out this computer screen here. This is the Bargello Technique background for card making, including the Delicate Dreams designer paper. So you can see the image of the card that we're going to finish, the inside, the outside, supplies, which are clickable. And then we have the measurements here. The title's at the top. It's kind of hard to see because my head's in the way. And then the date is to the left of that. It's a 1-sheet type of PDF that's more of a reference. It's not really like an instructional PDF, but it will help you to come back to this video so that you can do the card. Okay, so let's make that card. We're gonna start, bring you back to the desktop here. We're gonna start with some pieces that were already cut. We're gonna set those aside. So we have a couple of the gray granite pieces. We have a few of these pieces. These were like my leftovers from our make and take. And we need to cut 4 strips of each of these and then 4 strips of one other paper. So for this technique, I'm going to choose to use 3 different papers. Now you could totally include several more or just a couple, but you want to have at least 2. 2 will give you a fun patterning kind of look. And the more colors you have, the more vibrant the background can be, right? So let's grab a trimmer, which is under my pile. Hang on. And I think these are already cut to size. Now, because they are spaced apart in the card, I'm not going to worry about them connecting to each other. We don't have to puzzle piece them together. We don't have to worry about them, lining up or anything. So I'm going to cut 4 total of 1/2 inch by 4 inch gray granite strips. We'll set those over here. I want a couple more of this design, and I can grab from any of these papers. I think I want to have some extra blue in there because we need some more blue. So we'll just go ahead and cut this one. 1 and 2. And then we want to take one more color, and I want to choose something that's a little more contrasting just to give it a difference, right? So we're going to use that one paper that's in the pack. And it's so funny because I swear I had cut a sheet to make my sample, and now I can't find that one sheet. So obviously it's hidden in my room somewhere. So we're going to just do a little test here. Yeah, these are all 12 by 12. So I must have another sheet somewhere where I started cutting. Anyways, it doesn't matter. We will set those over here and cut some strips that are 1/2 inch by 4. And I'm just gonna do a 1/2 inch like this, and another one like this. And then the 4 inch is much easier to cut in this direction, because remember when I was cutting that 1/2 inch one just a few seconds ago? It was really hard to hold on to that paper. I do have a tip for you though. If you are cutting something where you can't hold on to it, you can use like a little sticky note here. So let's say I have a small piece. Let's just grab this one and cut it, okay? So I've got that one almost done. But let's say we want to cut this one, and we're going to cut it in half. Actually, I'm going to cut it here because I want it to be exactly a 1/2 inch. So you can take your sticky note and you can stick it down like that, and then you can trim it, and it'll stay in place while you're working with that small, really hard to grab onto paper. Okay, we need 2 more of these. We'll just cut one in half because we know that 12 divided by 3 is 4 inches. So both of these should be 4 inches, and they are. Okay, and then anything that's off a little bit, I'm going to show you how we're going to fix that. We did this card, but the other 3 versions, I'm going to show you those. That's the version that we did for a team make and take just recently. And so I decided to try it with some different products, which is the Delicate Dreams products, because I love this paper so much. But I came up with a new plan, you guys. So if you're from my team of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, I just want to share with you another tip that might help, because sometimes getting right to the exact measurement is tough. And this other tip that I have too, there's 2 tips actually, might help in the future. So I have some sticky paper here that I use for printing off mailing labels. And then I also have copy paper. Now what I gave my team for the make and take was copy paper, and I gave them each a 4 by 6 piece. We're still gonna keep it 6 inches long, or you can make it longer if you want to. If you want your Bargello technique to really move up and down your paper, you wanna have a longer base of paper, okay? But we're gonna do 4 by 6, and we're actually gonna make this slightly less than 4. We're gonna make this, no, actually that's the other paper. Hang on, let me think for just a minute. Yes, this one we're gonna make 4 by 6. Yep, I'm looking at my directions. And then the other one is where we're gonna adjust the dimensions a bit. So when we get to that, just pay attention. Now, if you don't wanna use copy paper, you can use something that's already sticky. Okay, so if we're gonna use something that's already sticky, I'm gonna cut this to 4 inches by 6. And this will help with any gluing issues, because every piece that you put on, you want to have glued down really well, like the whole surface, okay? So for this example, I'm actually gonna use this sticky paper, but if I wasn't using the sticky paper for the example, then you would want to use lots of adhesive, okay? So I have my sticker upside down, and I'm gonna start adding these strips. And it doesn't matter which order you add them in. I think I'll just go ahead and start with the dark one, and we're gonna put this against a dark surface so you can see better. So we go right to that corner down here in the lower left, and make sure everything stays nice and straight, and add that going across, okay? Now, I have adhesive all the way across the back side of this. If I was sticking onto typing paper or copy paper, I'd want to make sure that this is nice and dosed with seal adhesive, okay? We're going to set that over here because we're obviously not using that. We're using this. My next paper that I'm going to add in there is a blue. Sorry, this other one was blue. This is Hydrangea Hue Blue. This is our Secret Sea. And then we've got some gray granite in here. I even had an x-ray this morning, you guys. They are checking me out. So just, hope that it's not pneumonia. Okay, after we stick these down, we're going to start making the pattern. And I know some of you said in comments to me, so sweet of you, by the way, oh, what a trooper. Well, I'm passionate about this. I really have a hard time not coming live, even when I'm feeling sick, you guys. I just love this so much. So thank you for listening to the coughing that I will try to refrain from doing. Now, also make sure that your pattern, by the way, looks patterned. When I did my sample for my team, I accidentally moved some of these papers around. So just check every once in a while. We have Secret Sea, Hydrangea, Gray. Secret Sea, Hydrangea, Gray. Secret Sea, Hydrangea, and Gray. And then you want to press them into this adhesive. You want everything sticking, okay? Now, if you don't make it all the way to the top of the paper, that's okay. This direction isn't as big of a deal. This direction is more of a big of a deal, but we can still fix that if we have issues. Okay, that goes down and there. And then our last one, and I want to make sure I get the blue inward more than outward. Okay, and our last one. See how that's going beyond a little bit? Totally fine. It's totally going to be fine. Okay, so this paper, this really, really thin paper, is basically a base. And we want it thin because we don't want to add a lot of bulk to our card. Now, you can totally do this technique with regular cardstock, but then your card gets heavier, thicker, that sort of thing. Okay? Oh, yes, an adhesive sheet. You could do that too. I do mention that in these supplies. Thank you for pointing that out, Melissa. So you could take copy paper, you could put an adhesive sheet down onto it to cover the whole surface. This was quicker for the video, but that works too instead of using seal adhesive. In fact, I want to say it was Candace who recommended that idea during our team event. And I was like, yep, you can do that. I'm not an adhesive sheet person. I have some. I just rarely use it, which is weird. I don't know. I guess I like to use sticky glues and, you kind of get set in your adhesives, don't you? Could it be the embellishments in the suite? Okay, I guess I missed that question, but she's asking Trisha anyways. So I will let Trisha figure out what they're talking about. Yes, great use for scraps. Totally, Debbie. So, all those beautiful papers you have, they don't even have to be like coordinating together with the same papers, right? This is such an amazing background. You are going to love it. You've never seen anything like this? Oh, my goodness sakes. I'm teaching you something new, Kathy. That's so fun. Okay, we're going to take some foil paper now. And you could use cardstock. You could use, whatever here. I'm just going to use some foil paper just to really make it pop. And I'm going to cut this. It already is, I think it's a little over 4 inches wide. So I made this a slightly over, let's cut the white one first. Bzz, back up. Okay, Rachel's backing up. She's going to do the white one first. Hang on. Let's zoom out a bit. So this is my 8.5 by 11 basic white cardstock. Because we have so many layers on this card, I've chosen regular basic white cardstock. We're going to cut this in half at 4¼ inches. And then we're going to take one of these halves, rotate it, and score at 5.5. Now we have our base. Now we're going to cut a layer, and this layer is what we're going to actually add these onto to make our really fun pattern. So we need a nice sturdy but thinner kind of base, and you could do copy paper here too if you want to. But I'm choosing basic white just so it stays nice and firm as I work. And this piece is going to be 4 by 5¼ except smaller. Okay? So when you think except smaller, what does Rachel mean by that? Well, I could use my 16th inches if you want me to. I could totally do that. In fact, I will for you math nerds like me. But let's go ahead and look at what 5¼ except smaller would look like. get it in the camera here. There's 5 1/4, back 1 little notch. So it's actually 5 3/16, okay? Or in my directions, I wrote just under 5 1/4 inches. Did I? I hope I did. Just under. Yes, I did. Okay, so we're going to cut that. We're going to rotate it and cut in the other direction. This one would be 4, but we're going to go just under. So 1 little titch back, which would make this 3 15/16, or just under 4, okay? So whatever is easiest for you for that measurement. Now that we've got that, you can see that there's a little bit of difference there. That's good, okay? That's gonna help us so that we don't have to do a lot of, you'll see, because we're gonna trim this in case we have issues. Yeah, we have a few little issues here. So that might make it a little bit smaller, which is why this base being a tiny bit smaller is gonna help. Then this piece is the one that we're gonna cut next. Now, if this one is just under 4 by just under 5 1/4, we're gonna make this one just over 4. And I've already cut that because I've got my sample one done. By just over 5 1/4. Okay, and that's gonna give us a really nice layer when these two come together. You'll see that 1/16 of an inch all the way around with a beautiful dark deep foiling. From this piece here, we're going to punch. We're going to punch from this because it's not going to be seen. So I have 2 punches that are used on the card. We're going to use the 2-inch punch and we're going to use the 1 7/8 inch punch. The 2-inch is the obviously wider one. We're going to stick that into our foil paper as far as it'll go, just so that it's not right at the edge, and punch a circle. This is going to get covered up, so we're making good use of that foil. In fact, if you want to, you could even trim out a good size rectangle from there, because all we're going to see are the edges. So feel free to do even more paper saving. But now we have that piece ready. And then from our other punch, we're going to punch out from our paper. Where did our paper go? We have some leftover cardstock somewhere. Oh, Rachel, I might have to grab a scrap because everything's piling up again. Hang on, I'm just gonna grab a white scrap. We need to punch a circle. This will work. Okay. So this is gonna be a circle that we can either punch ahead of time or afterwards. I'm gonna go ahead and punch it now because we have totally clear stamps that we're gonna use and we'll be able to line things up. Okay, we have our circles. And the only other piece that we need to cut is the ribbon. I found it. Okay, so we're going to take our ribbon, open that up with our little snips here. And I did say, I think 14 inches. So I'm just going to use my grid paper here. 14 inches is about here. Okay, everything's cut and ready. We're not using the dies for this card. We're just using the stamps, the paper. Those are the only things that come from the suite. So I just want to point that out, that if you don't want to buy the whole suite, you can get the stamps and the paper and still have this card be a great success, okay? So now we're going to work, oh, there's my extra paper. Now we're going to work with this white piece and this piece here. We're going to cut this with our trimmer into strips. And before we do that, we want to clean it up. So do you see, and maybe you don't because, there we go. Do you see these little extras hanging over the edge? We're going to do that on the 2 long sides. We're just going to trim to make sure everything looks good and trim as straight as possible. If you mess up and you can't trim nice and straight, then put it in your trimmer and cut it. I don't see any flaws on this side, but this is fine. You can leave that long. Let's, now we can go ahead and set this up in our trimmer. So because this is 4 inches wide, we're gonna divide that into 8 pieces. Here's another thing that you can do that, oh, I love it. I love this ribbon too, Debbie. That's so cute. Excuse me. But you could divide this into other measurements. In fact, these little strips here could be wider or skinnier. They could be 1/4 of an inch. They could be 3/4 of an inch. I'm just going half and half, you know, for all of my directions, but you can change it up however you want. So I'm going to make these 1/2 of an inch, and we're just going to start cutting. Oops. Oh my goodness, my nose. And if it's not super accurate, it's fine because we're going to trim again afterwards. We just want this to be as close as possible to what we can do with our, see how this is kind of off down here? Totally fine. It'll still work, hopefully. All right. So how's everybody's weather? We have nice sunny weather today, which is great because yesterday it was very dismal. But today is nice. It's a little cool out. Is it nice? Is it sunny? Oh, maybe it's not so sunny. It's just a little brighter than it was. We're going to now add these strips to this cardstock. And to do that, we're going to do the same thing where we want lots of adhesive on the back side. But it's not as important that we, you know, cover every single area. But you definitely want to cover, you know, the middle-ish area. This is where it really matters, is if it's stuck to the base of this paper. For this, I'm going to start with my dark blue off the edge. So it is not connected. And I'm gonna bring this paper onto here so you can see better. So I've lined it up with that left edge. This square down here is off the edge, and this one's totally on the edge. Next piece. So then what we're going to do is we're going to start to shift these, shift them around. So this one's going to go so that and I'm checking my finished one to make sure I'm following that. This one's going to go up just a little higher, like that. Okay, it looks like we have most of this square on and a little bit of this navy square. Now we'll do another one. And this one's going to go even higher. So you're just stair-stepping it a little bit at a time. And I think my other one I stair-stepped a lot more than this, but it's okay. It's okay if they're different. They're not too much different, but they're different enough where you're going to see a difference. And then from here, I'm going to come back down. So I'm going to go back down with my imagery. You can see the steps now are going down. And you'll just put them next to each other. And if you want to, because they're not totally connected, you can put them in any order again. But I like keeping these in order just, you know, because the imagery does line up. And if you shift it a little bit, it still kind of connects to each other, right? And then this one. Has anyone ever done this technique? And if so, can you tell me what measurements you used for your strips, if you remember? Because that's kind of fun. Okay, this one, up, 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 down, down, down. Now we're gonna go up, up, up again. So we're gonna go this way. It's kind of fun to see other samples. In fact, I have even one more sample that I got from Joanne Pollock, another friend and team member, and she did 3/4 inch size strips on hers. And you can see how we're slightly off on this one side as far as measurements. It's gonna work though. It's gonna work. And that's gonna get down here because it's gonna go down again, right? 1, 2, 3, yep. This one's moving downward. Okay, let's flip it over and see how badly. Not too bad, we're not too far off. But we want this to be the same size as what we made this base. And because there's like, I don't know, a significant amount over here and nothing over here, we're actually going to trim both sides to make them look fairly even. So I think I'm going to cut off with my trimmer. Excuse me. I'm so glad that I'm virtual so that you guys don't get colds. That is another joy of being able to teach when you have a cold, is nobody will catch it. Okay, so we're just going to add this in here and just seeing how sticky it is. Do a quick little trim. Sorry, just checking. Want to make sure it's lined up nice. We want everything to play nice when we do this because it takes a while to make this background. We don't want to screw it up, right? Okay, so I cut off a very tiny amount, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and line it up with that measurement we had before, which was the 3 15/16, or just under 4, which I think I'm going to make slightly shorter so that I can grab this edge better. So it's just a little bit narrower. Okay, let's see if we can trim this one. Yep, good. Now we made them look fairly even on each side. For this part here, you can just take, well, we could trim it this way too, but I just grab my long bladed scissors and I just trim like this, using the edge of the cardstock as a guide. Plus then only my scissors get sticky from all these little adhesive pieces instead of my blade on my trimmer. And then in the end, what's really cool is when you pull this, turn this over after all these are cut off, it's just such a really fun background, isn't it? So let's add this to our foil paper. And we'll just do that with straight adhesive, seal adhesive onto our foil. And then we're going to use our ribbon. And we'll add that wrapped around the middle of this piece. And because I'm not one of those people that needs to like put glue dots down when I tie a ribbon, I can really tie it wherever I want to initially. So I'm going to do my right over left, fold it, pull it through. Okay, it's folded and pulled through. And then I'm going to fold this one in the opposite direction and pull. And then I'm going to adjust the two sides to make sure that they're straight. After I've got this down, then I'm going to take my ring finger and hold it right there so it's nice and tight. And I have to kind of train that finger to stay there while I do top over bottom, off to the side, bend this in half. So it's now coming through, and then pull. And you let go of this finger when this comes right to the base, and now you have your ribbon tied in a nice knot. And if you want to, you can manipulate it, kind of shift it wherever it feels like it's going to sit right. All right, there we go. Next, we're going to add this to the front of the card. Now, before we do the front of the card, I'm going to do some stamping, because if I mess up on the stamping, I can turn the base of the card inside out. Let's check to see. Okay, that's going to be the back side because you can see both layers. So this is the back. Let's open it up. This is the inside, and we're going to stamp on the inside with one of our flower images from the stamp set. So this is one of my favorite flower images from the stamp set because it's got leaves on it. We're going to ink that up, and we'll just stamp that inside like this. So the flower itself looks fairly centered. You can shift it if you like the whole image to be centered. I'm going to stamp that down. And then I'm going to come in with my ink pad, which already has a little bit of color here. And to get that, you kind of have to put some strength into it, but you can squeeze. I think I need some water, you guys. And then you get that color there. One thing, I got to just hang on. Okay, now we're going to grab our Wink of Stella. Okay, it's kind of like a blender pen, but not. It has Stella on it. It has sparkles. And we're going to dip into our color here with our Wink of Stella pen. Start from the inside of the petal and kind of swirl our way outward. And fill up that petal. Oh, yeah, we're getting the blurriness because Rachel went too close. Fill up that petal with the beautiful shimmer. And I'm going to turn this to the side here so you can see that. Can you see? It's so pretty. Okay, and then we're going to go around and do that to all of our petals. And because I want to make sure I don't screw this up, I'm doing this first. And then we can come in and do the front of the card because we know that this inside part is good to go. And you would, of course, do a neater, slower job of coloring, but Rachel's going fast. But yeah, as you color, you'll notice it gets clearer. The color stays more to where you first start. So that's why you want it to be in the middle, because you tend to get the shadows of a flower on the inside more than at the end of the petals, right? And we're going to do olive. No, what's it called? Mossy Meadow. We're going to do Mossy Meadow color next, okay? So let's put this color aside for just a minute, and we're going to bring in Mossy Meadow. And we've done the same thing. We already have a little bit of color on there. I'm just going to run this on my, oh, can you guys see, or am I too close? Oh my goodness, Rachel. I'm going to run this here on my grid paper just to get any color off there that's extra. And we'll go into our green color now. And we'll do that with a little bit more intense color. But again, it's going to be all sparkly. Now, Wink of Stella is a shimmer that could look gold, it could look copper, it could look silver. It just depends on what it's next to, but it just gives a super pretty shimmer. The color itself is more like champagne-y, as you can see. But to me, it can take on any metallic it wants. And then this ribbon here, even though we have copper in the paper, I think the gold that's within that ribbon doesn't contrast much. In fact, it just makes it shine. To me, I like it. I don't know. Okay, and then let's close this up for now. Let's add this. Actually, let's keep that open to let it dry. But let's add this with dimensionals. And I'm running out. We'll use up that sheet and then we'll move to this one. Use up those corners, you guys, right? And this is kind of sticky here, so I'm going to do something about that. Oh my goodness, I completely forgot. Let's take some of our copy paper and just stick that in there. There, then the middle of our card won't just like smush down in the middle, right? You got to get rid of the stickies. Okay, so we have one on each corner. You could even put dimensionals there to cover it up, but I don't want any dimensionals there because we're going to put something in the middle of the card that is also up on dimensionals. Okay, so this is going to go on the front of our card, lined up in the middle. And then we're going to use our scissors with a ribbon on it because we always make sure that we save one of our scissors for cutting ribbon and fabric because that way it doesn't dull. Paper dulls scissors, okay? Just know that. Okay, we've got that done. And I probably could have cut that a little bit longer. It should work. Okay, this is next. We're going to stamp on this piece with a sentiment that says, "Thank you kindly." We'll stamp that with our secret C. And we're going to stamp it slightly high on the circle. You can see, okay, it fell off, but you can see that through it when you're stamping. Let's bring this back in so you can really see. So here's my stamp. Here's my paper, and you can see where you're going with it when you stamp down. It's so awesome. I love photopolymer. Okay, next, let's open this up again and grab our Wink of Stella. Come in with a little bit of color on those flower petals. Stamping our art out. Okay, there's that. Now we'll close that, set that aside. Next, that should be dry now. We're going to mount this onto our earthen, whatever that specialty foil paper is called. Earthen what? Earthen toned. Earthen toned. And it's hard to see now that it's on dark. So let's go on the light paper. Let's get centered like that. And now, with this going right in this spot, we don't want the dimensionals to be in the bumpy portion of the ribbon. So we're going to take our dimensionals and we're going to place them right next to the ribbon. Oh, by the way, because I did not glue this down, I can shift my ribbon wherever I need it to go. I like where it's at right now, but getting in the habit of not having a glue dot down when you do a ribbon really helps for your ability to maneuver things, right? All right. And if you want to, you can glue it down now. So I've got a few dimensionals on there for the base. I'll peel these off. And then we'll just press this down into the middle. The last thing that we're going to do is add a couple embellishments. And these are our metallic, adhesive back metallic gems. And let me tell you, they are so pretty and they're staying. This is a product that is carrying over into the new catalog. I do have a tool here, but not here. I don't know where I put it. We'll just use a paper snips. But the Take Your Pick tool is great for picking up gems too. I don't know where I stuck that. Oh, it's probably over there. I have a few projects in the room that I'm working on. A large copper one is going to go on the inside of the card. You usually don't put gems on the inside because you don't want to have that extra bump. But these have kind of a flat little surface on the top, and they're fairly low profile. Plus, I think it just adds some richness to that. And then the smaller one is going to go on in the middle of this tiny flower right there. And then we have our finished card. And it is so, so striking. Just a really fun background on there. Isn't that cool? All right, next, let's go ahead and look at some other styles. So this is the one from Joanne Pollock that I got gifted to me so that I could get inspired by it. So thank you, Joanne, for that. So she used 3/4 of an inch tall strips, but 1/2 inch wide in this direction. She also cut the two sides evenly, even though these two strips on the outside aren't a 1/2 inch, all the rest are. So it gives you that really nice balanced look. And then here are the ones that I did with the Homemade Sweetness suite of products for our team event that we just had. And that was so fun to see. And you know what we're doing now is people are posting their finished cards in our Facebook group, our team Facebook group, so that we can see their renditions of this. And if they didn't ask for supplies, then they would have used their own products. So it's fun to see the variations of these make and take cards that we do in our team with different products other than the ones that I sent to those who asked for the make and take products. I'm glad you liked it. Thank you, Linda. Thank you. So sweet of you. Thank you, 10GME. All right, now I have some news. I always have news at the end, so if you can stick around for just a little bit. That PDF that I shared with you, that is accessible through the blog post. How do you get to the blog post? In the video description, there is a link to where this blog post is live. Yes, it's live now. If you came over from the blog post coming to your email, would you chime in on the chat and let me know that's how you found it? Because I released it like 2 hours early today so that people could maybe see that and then come on over. Be interested to know if that's how you found it. Or just tell me how you found the live. Maybe you're subscribed to my channel. Maybe you were browsing and you're new to my channel. Maybe you just know that I always have lives at this time. I would love to hear. Thank you, Rose Carey. Okay, I'm going to bring you to a screen on my computer that shows you an important site to pay attention to, if I can pull it up. Is this must be it. Okay. So in the description of my video, there's also a link to what I call my calendar. And it is a calendar. It's not everything on my calendar, but it's a calendar of my videos, my lives. And this is a great, quick way to see when I'm going live. If there's any changes, like let's say that Rachel got sick, which she did. Last Saturday, I was really feeling bad, or it's Friday, I was really feeling horrible. So I've shifted it to Saturday. And so I make some last minute changes, and this is the first calendar that I will change on, and then I go to do it on my website calendar and on my Facebook page pinned post. But this is a great resource. You can see I have a live at 11, which you're at, and then tonight at, did I say 6 p.m.? I thought it was 7. Hang on a minute. I'm going to go and move away from this for just a minute. I might have marked that wrong, unless it is 6 p.m. It's 7 p.m. on my other calendar. Hang on. Rachel's just going to take a little quick check here to see if she's screwed up in other areas. Because that would be fun. I'm going to go to my website calendar right now. That's the trouble with having 3 calendars. Let's see what it says for tonight on the 25th. 25th. Oh, 6 p.m. Well, we can do it at 6. I announced 6 p.m. on all the other ones. I better do it at 6 or you guys aren't going to be, you guys are going to be waiting for me too long. Okay, anyways, back to this calendar. I want to show you this because you can see next week looks pretty full. 30th through the 4th is our Craft Along event. If you saw my blog post today, you will know, and here's my website, by the way, stampyourartout.com. If you go there and you go to my blog and you go to the latest post and you scroll down just a little bit, you are going to see, oh, was it in yesterday's? I'm not feeling well. I might have been in yesterday's post. Let me go back one. It was in the color comparison video post. Okay, we're going to scroll through here. Close your eyes. I'm going to go way to the bottom. Okay, towards the bottom, there's this list. And it says the Hello Spring Craft Along. These are the supplies we're going to use. So if you did not purchase the tutorial, if you did not purchase the Craft Along, the Craft Along bundles, the kit product bundles, if you didn't purchase any of that, that's totally fine. You can participate in these Craft Alongs for free. These are the supplies that you'll want to have though, okay? Tells you what ink colors to have for the week, what embellishments, ribbons, stamp sets. And then it also mentions, for those of you that did purchase things, what is already provided for you, okay? So there are some things that are provided for those people that made the purchase. You can also access the tutorial if you didn't purchase it in time. You can go to shop and then go to tutorials and then to actual tutorials. And here you can see the Hello Spring Craft Along and make that purchase if you want to have the written directions, the measurements written down, supplies written down, photos of the projects. And that way you can prepare all that stuff and follow along in even more detail because you'll be ready. The other thing I wanted to point out, because we just were there, is that I have some things for sale that I just added to my store this weekend. And this coming weekend, so this last weekend is when I added them, and this coming weekend is when they will start shipping. So if you're interested in buying these pins, I am selling pins. I bought them last year. They're Stampin' Up! Approved. They don't have Stampin' Up's logo. They just have like characterizations that they're Stampin' Up! Type products, but they are definitely not, they're not breaking any rules. And so, but you can purchase these pins and have some Stampin' Up! Like products on your lanyard, on your apron, on your, bulletin board, wherever you put pins. So if you're interested, you can help supplement the cost of them. I design them and buy them for my team and give them out at our on stage. And then I have to buy in bulk. So buying in bulk means that you get to reap the rewards of what's left over. If you're interested in helping me out with covering the cost of that, that'd be great. Okay. Oh yeah, my favorite extras. Thank you, Trisha, for pointing that out. Under shop, you can also go to my favorite extras, and there you can find links to like the precision tip glue bottle, things that I use for storage in my room, little extra things like adhesive erasers and Velcro dots and magnets and that sort of thing. So, okay, what else? I think that's it as far as the website news. The next live that I have is actually Friday. It's not next week, it's Friday if you saw on that calendar, and that's for a members only live. So if you're a member of my channel, thank you for supporting me monetarily, and you pay that $5.99 per month. We have a special live coming up this Friday. And starter kit. So yeah, so the starter kit's always a great deal. I'm mentioning the starter kit today just because we're in the middle of pre-order. And I'm going to share these goodies that I got to buy early, starting yesterday morning. I expressed mine. You don't have to express ship yours, but I did so you could see these. But if you're interested in being a demonstrator, demonstrators are now in what's called pre-order phase, where we get to order things earlier than everybody else. So that's a perk to being a demonstrator. It's just one of the many. And I think, I had one more bit of news. Let me show you this. This is cool. I'm going to push this away. And where did I put that image? Excuse me. Did I close that up completely? There is an image. Maybe it's down here. It's the new product of the month. Have you seen it? I did close it out. That was weird. That's because Rachel only had 5 hours of sleep last night. Okay, so this is the new product of the month that's debuting April 1st. So every first Tuesday of every month, and this coming month, it happens to be on the 1st of the month, a new product of the month is revealed. So when you place a $75 plus, how would you say that? I'm tired. $75 plus order in the US during a month, you can choose to add on. It's a one-time thing though. Like you can add on just one of these. You can't buy two with two different $75 orders, but you can get one of each of the product of the months for just an additional $5. So buying that whole pretty metallic die, it's called Eyelet Blooms. It's a background type die. So pretty, but you can see you can cut it into little pieces too and make tiny little flowers. Anyways, $5. That's it. It's a steal. So isn't it pretty? I know. And I love how this card just, see how they cut in and out around. It's just gorgeous. It's a stunning card. So that is available. And Notes of Spring, still available. Okay. This stamp set here, you can still get. This is the March product of the month. Super cute, two-step stamping type of stamp set. Look at that bun. So cute. And then, yeah, I'm not sure if there are any others, but if there's still a product of the month that you didn't get from a past month, and I can just go there right now. Let's go there. Let's take another field trip. Let's go to Shop Online Products and go to Specials and go to Product of the Month. So if you're at Product of the Month page, you can see what's still available. See, the April hasn't been released yet, April 1st, but the March is available. The February paper, that's still available. The January stamp set with all those words are still available. Yay. So if you didn't get those yet, you can place an order and choose to add one of them. I appreciate you all so very much. Thank you, Trisha. You are a gem every time you come on. You are there to guide people and help them out, and I appreciate it so very much. And thank you to all of you who tune in. Thanks for taking your time out of your busy schedules to be with me. If you're watching the Afterlive, chime in, say hello, ask questions, let me know what wasn't clear today, and I hope you subscribe, like, and share. Thanks, everyone. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.